This isn't drama. This is what happens when authority is perceived but never acknowledged. People think they're watching disagreement, but disagreement requires participation. What they're actually watching is one sided authority fixation and the psychological tension that silence creates. I'm not here to defend anyone, I'm here to explain the pattern. Online authority isn't just influence, it's identity stabilization through perception. When someone is perceived as holding higher authority, response becomes symbolic. Acknowledgement feels like validation. Silence feels like hierarchy. And that's where fixation can form. Speaking about a perceived authority figure creates immediate positioning, not necessarily malicious, but psychologically powerful. The audience begins interpreting identity through contrast rather than self definition. Most people assume response creates escalation, but prolonged silence can create something more psychologically complex: unresolved authority tension. The absence of acknowledgement doesn't dissolve attention, it concentrates it. When direct interaction doesn't occur, the audience becomes the arena. Interpretation replaces communication. Projection replaces dialogue. And the relationship exists more in perception than reality. One sided focus can intentionally stabilize identity. The individual gains clarity through opposition, even without the engagement from the perceived authority. The dynamic sustains itself without needing response. The absence of response doesn't end fixation, it often stabilizes it because response offers closure. Silence preserves ambiguity and hierarchy, and ambiguity is psychologically magnetic. This isn't about who's right or wrong, it's about how authority is perceived, pursued, and resisted in public spaces. Some individuals build authority through expansion, others build authority through opposition. Neither requires direct interaction to exist. Over time, the audience starts interpreting silence itself as communication. Meaning gets assigned where no interaction exists. And the dynamic becomes less about two individuals and more about audience psychology orbiting perceived hierarchy. If you're building influence online, understand this early. Attention doesn't require reciprocity to sustain itself, and silence doesn't always dissolve dynamics. Sometimes it defends them. Containment is what prevents perception from becoming identity regulation. I don't analyze individuals, I analyze patterns that repeat across influence, identity, and authority. If this language resonates, subscribe because once you understand the dynamics, online behavior becomes predictable, and predictability is power.
Concrete production.